This is JJ Solomon.
This Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
The Spit Bucket Speed Bag is brought to you by Diggles
Episode 5.
Welcome back to the Spit Bucket Podcast. I'm JJ Solomon here with Mr. IOTBA Bradshaw.
Y'all know how we coming. What's poppin'?
Oh man, and we missed you guys. It's good to be back. We had to take some time off. We had some travel problems, travel events.
Sick. We was sick.
He was sick. I was sick.
The whole family was sick.
Everybody was sick.
But shout out to everybody, man. Like, we happy to be back. This episode 5. Y'all know how we coming. We are TSB. Hashtag TSB. The Spit Bucket.
We love it, man. Yeah, we got a chance to spend some time up in Warren, Ohio for the Macaboo event. Shout out to Donkey Promotions. Shout out to Buku.
Shout out to Buku, Don King Promotions.
Yeah, Miss Deborah King.
Deborah King.
Great time. We got to hang out down there up in Warren, Ohio. Beautiful, beautiful city for boxing. I mean, just talking about old school feel. What were your thoughts about being up in Ohio, man?
It was just a different feeling. You know, being here from Dallas, Texas, you know, it's just that prestige, right? Mm-hmm. And going up to Warren, Ohio, being in a camp where, you know, where all the great fighters, you know, have fought and trained, lived there. It was just a different feeling, out-of-body experience.
For sure, man. We had the opportunity to walk around and hang out at the famous King training camp where legends, obviously Mike Tyson spent time there, Felix Trinidad, the Spinks, just a great, I mean, the nostalgia, the feeling of, man, I can't even explain it.
It was just different, and we just want to thank the King family for inviting TSB, the Spit Bucket, down there, you know, to cover that fight. Shout out to everybody who was on that card. It was a tremendous show. Everybody in that city, what they did in the Warren, Ohio, they showed up and showed out, and we respect that.
Yep, there was all business. They came out to watch boxing. Nothing about trying to show out, folks dressing flashy. No, they were there for the show, and man, it felt good to be part of a boxing show. So again, big shout out to Donkey Promotions and the entire family out there. We had a wonderful time. Got a chance to spend some time in Florida.
Oh, Hollywood, Florida, what's poppin'?
Yeah, that was a great time. I had a chance to visit with some of the locals, some of the folks that were traveling, asked them about the interviews actually up on our YouTube, so check it out. But we had a chance to interview tons of people, ask some good old boxing questions, so that was fun too. Yeah,
just the state of boxing, you know, it was beautiful down there. The palm trees, the illustrious drinks they have, just the beautiful view. It was just sensational.
Beautiful. That kept us outside, but needless to say, we are back, and I think it's time to get into the speed bag. Yeah, let's go right into it. So right off the bat, Ryan Garcia, big news from Team Ryan Garcia, leaving Eddie Reynoso and the folks, the Canelo camp. What are your thoughts about it?
Wow, like I was just like, wow. I was shocked and amazed. JJ Solomon and everybody around the world. Like, Ryan Garcia leaves Eddie Reynoso. Why? Because he called you out? Because he letting the truth come to the power and the power come to the truth? Like, Ryan Garcia, what is it with you? Do you think you was him already? like what have you did so far? So that was shocking to see this guy, you know, feel himself like that, to leave one of the best trainers in the game right now.
And you know, there's some people saying that, you know, obviously my first thoughts were maybe it's Ryan Garcia not being able to put up with the criticism. But, you know, folks saying that Teofimo Lopez might be working with Reynoso, so it could have been that. Who knows what it was? Ryan Garcia said it was simply time. He doesn't have time. Reynoso doesn't have time to focus on him. He doesn't have a problem with it. But man, I don't know. I have a problem. I think it's him getting called out. I think his pride got hit. And we'll see. Good luck to Ryan Garcia, man. You got all the potential in the world. It's time to put it together.
Ooh, Mr. JJ Solomon.
What else we got?
We got a big one coming up. What's that like?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury versus Dylan White. It's been announced for April the 23rd. Like the biggest purse bid of all time.
Did you see that coming?
I kind of seen it coming because Dylan White, he been on the outside looking in for a long time, and he finally getting his opportunity. It's his moment to show up and show out, to show everybody that he is that guy. So, and the biggest purse bid of all time, that was the biggest news about it.
He's been asking for his opportunity. He's getting the money he wants. He's getting a shot at the titles. He's getting a big name fight with Tyson Fury. So, man, it's time to put up or shut up, Mr. White. But my thoughts on that real quick, though. I mean, I think your everyday casual American boxing fan is going to say, how did a White and Fury fight break records like that? But that tells you the status of the heavyweight division overseas and what it's like here in the States right now. I mean, it's a big, big demand, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
That's a great point because, you know, like, that's domestic. You know, like, boxing is really from the 214 to across the pond right now. It only used to be when you used to come to America and get that type of money. These dudes are doing a fight across the pond, biggest purse bid of all time. Salute.
Let's see what happens. Next one we got, my goodness, a super fight that needed to happen for the sport. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, April 30th. To basically the biggest fight in women's history. We've been calling for it. We're finally getting it. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bradshaw?
Man, I love it, especially for the women in the sport of boxing. This is beautiful. This is like I say, I always use this word, but this is a momentous occasion. And finally, in my rock voice, I mean, finally, women are getting an opportunity on the grand stage where Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano got a chance to change the landscape of women boxing where these women fighters could get paid more.
And you say main stage, we're talking about Madison Square Garden.
The Mecca.
Main event, the Mecca of boxing. So we're excited. I think Amanda Serrano is gonna pull it off. I think she's gonna shock the folks overseas. But I love what she's doing. She's pumping blood into the sport, into women's boxing. So good for you, ladies, and we're excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I got Amanda Serrano too.
You think she can pull it off?
That way.
Hey, that same night, what else we got? Another fight that's been anticipated for a long time. This one gives me the shakes.
It's a big one. It's a big one, JJ Solomon.
Shakur Stevenson against Oscar Valdez. Finally, we got that locked up. Thoughts, Mr. Bradshaw?
Man, I love it. This is what boxing is about. This is what we talk about, the essence of the sport. When you got two young, talented fighters, you know, willing to put it all on the line to show who the best. It ain't about wins and losses in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. It's about showing who the best, because whether you are the winner or loser in this fight, you're still going to get respected because both of these fighters are stepping up to the plate and they making it happen. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez.
Who do you think's taking it?
I got Shakur Stevenson. I'm rolling with Shakur Stevenson. But listen, though, Mr. Solomon, this tricky, though, because Oscar Valdez, he know what's on the line with him. He know it's a lot at stake, and he know he is the underdog. He training with Eddie Reynoso.
Yep.
You know, one of
the X factor. Yeah, if you ask me, though, I think I'm going to have to. I think Shakur Stevenson is one of those special talents. You know, you've got a loaded lightweight division. He's at 130. I think he's going to eventually move up. And I think one day, 15, 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about Shakur Stevenson. Not a knock on Valdez. I think Valdez got all the talent in the world. And again, that could be the X factor, the Reynoso thing. Training with Canelo, I think that's going to bring out the best in him. But I still think Shakur Stevenson is just on another level.
Absolutely.
What else we got there?
Oh, yeah, man. We got George Cambosis versus Vasil Lemonchinko in May, June. They say the contracts has been put out there. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. JJ Solomon?
I'm excited. If you look back 2 episodes ago, when we were highlighting the lightweight division and we were saying what needs to happen, we said Cambosis and Lemonchinko needs to happen, and we're getting it. We're getting it right. I mean, good for Cambosis for taking the fight. I think it's his most dangerous fight. There's a lot of folks that are talking about Devin Haney, but I don't think Haney can put. I mean, I think Haney's got all the talent in the world, but I think Loma's going to be a serious threat to get the belts back from Cambosis. What are your thoughts?
I love it. I mean, it's like the best fighting the best. You know, like when you look at both of these fighters, they got history. You know, you got the guy in Vasil Lemonchinko who lost to a guy in Teofimo Lopez, who a lot of people thought it was some questions that Lemonchinko won that fight. Then you got a guy in George Cambosis who beat Teofimo Lopez convincingly, like you said, and then we see Loma bounce back. You know, it was questions about
Mm-hmm.
him being injured, bounced back against Richard Comey and put on a superb performance. This is a match made in heaven. Shout out to Australia, shout out to George Cambosis, shout out to Vasil Lemonchinko.
I'm
Straight
excited.
up. But let me ask you something. No. Who you got?
Well, I said it a couple episodes ago, and I'll say it again. I think Lomachenko is, in the next 18 months or so, he's going to come out as the king of the lightweight. So I think Lomachenko's getting his belt back, and I think he's going to be champ for a long time until Shakur moves on up. That's just my thought.
No, I agree with you until Shakur moves up, but I'm sorry about this right now. I got the Emperor, George Cambosis Jr. I got the Emperor winning this fight. He showed everybody from the 2-1-4 to across the pond. The way he went in there and put a beating on Teofimo Lopez, he showed everybody that he was for real and he was legit. And this is a guy who has history. This ain't a guy who got it with the easy route or got it the easy way. This guy had to do it the hard way.
Yeah, man. Much respect. Much respect for Mr. Cambosis. I just think that when you're looking at the Matrix, when you're looking at high tech,
is he back, JJ?
I think he's back, man. I think he's back, and I think he's ready. He knows he's got that sour taste of defeat. He don't want to lose on a big stage like that again. I think he's out to prove a point. And so kudos to you guys. I'm excited about the fight. But now let's talk about. We talked enough of Spence Ugas last time, but we're going to talk a little bit of Spence Ugas, and here's why. The Spit Bucket Podcast, April 16th, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. We are having our very, very, very first NFT exclusive event. You guys hear me out on this. We've talked about it. You guys may have seen it on social media. But the Spit Bucket, our brand, our podcast, is making its way into the NFT market, the crypto world. I know you guys see commercials about it. I know every time you turn on your phone, somebody's talking about Bitcoin. We are in that world now. And we've got NFT. So go to tsbnft.com. Grab yourself an NFT and listen, tell them where to get you. Just right off the bat. It gets you a lot of stuff, but right off the bat, April 16th. Let's talk about it.
So what it gets you is this first NFT in our big head collection. You can tell by looking at my head, looking at this head. It's called the Big Head Collection. But you know, that is our pride and joy. And in that first batch of the Big Head Collection, if you purchase this NFT, this is the first exclusive event that you're going to have access to go to and going forward. Any event, whether it's from the 214 to across the pond, with that NFT that you buy, you're going to be able to attend each event. And not just that, JJ, tell them about the NFT and how you could.
For sure. Yeah, so you give that NFT, it's not just a ticket to the suites at Cowboy Stadium. You're gonna have access to us. The NFTs are cheaper than the nosebleeds at that stadium. It's insane. But you get to hang out with us. We've got the two biggest suites in the stadium. 150 people are gonna be there enjoying the fights, networking, talking. But it's not just a one-time ticket. Like Corey said, it's like a season pass for all of our events going forward. If you want to hold on to it, you can. If you want to use it to come to our future events, you can. Or as our community grows, the value in these NFTs grow, you can flip it. You can make some profit on it. We've already had a guy, I'm not sure how he did it so quickly, but he did it. He flipped a $150 NFT for $600 and made a quick profit. He said, to hell with the fight. I don't need to go to the fight, or I can buy another one now. And so the guy played it smart. So go check us out, tsbnft.com. We've got a ton of plans going forward with it, but if you're trying to go to the Errol Spence, if you're local in Dallas, you're trying to go to the Errol Spence Ugas title fight in April, don't buy the tickets, buy an NFT. Don't be elbow to elbow. Don't be waiting in long lines for the restroom. Join us in Jerry Jones' beautiful suites. Check out our website.
Yeah, and especially for the people who flying in from around the world. Y'all gotta understand, them tickets gonna be in high demand right now. The Spit Bucket, tsbnft.com. You go purchase your NFT and you're gonna be able to rock with us in the VIP suite. Y'all gonna see how we coming.
Inbox us for any questions. I know if it's your first time buying an NFT, it could be a little confusing, so hit us up. But yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be live. We're gonna be having a good time networking with our fans, networking with other folks, and let's do it. There's gonna be some surprise faces.
Let's go, baby.
So
Let's go, baby.
DC with Diggers Elite Cleaning, y'all. We have 2 deodorizers here. What we specialize in is one of the things that makes our brand stand out. When you come clean your home, you can get one of. This is one of our deodorizers. It's a little ice in it, but most of our customers love it. But if there's something going on in your home, it's that smell that you cannot get rid of, hit us up. This is the deodorizer that you might want to use. I don't care if you got a skunk in the building. This is gonna basically get rid of that smell.
TSB this week in boxing history. We got a couple of big birthdays, a few events that are significant, but right off the bat, February 23rd, Mr. Son of God, SOG, Andre Ward, one of the top pound for pound. He's turning 38 years old. What are your thoughts on Mr. Ward?
Man, first off, I want to say happy birthday to SOG, Andre Ward. You know, look, I respect Andre Ward. You know, he get the highest gratitude. But, you know, us as boxing fans, we're going to always just have that sour taste in our mouth of did he leave too early? But, you know, he in control of his career. He know what's best for him. You know, that's just us as boxing fans and loving the craft, how he delivered it inside that square circle. We just wanted more. But he did hell of a things in his career, and we get a big happy birthday from
Big happy birthday. Big happy birthday. Definitely worth all the accolades. And, again, left on his own terms. Hey, good for you, Mr. Ward. Now, the big one, February 24th.
Oh, yeah.
What's your screen say?
Floyd Mayweather's 45th birthday. What's your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather's birthday?
45 years have tried and 45 years have failed. Floyd Mayweather, man, TBE, the self-proclaimed TBE. Now, listen, we know what Floyd Mayweather is. We know who he is. We know his money, 50-0, all the accolades. Listen, I respect what Floyd did. I always say this. People always talk about Floyd saying he's a runner, he's boring. I challenge you to do this. Look at Floyd Mayweather's fights before he fought Oscar De La Hoya in 2006. Before he was Money Mayweather and when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. The man was a monster. He had some injury problems. He moved up in weight. He adjusted his game probably better than anybody ever has. It wasn't fun to watch all the time, but he mastered the art of boxing. He got out healthy. He made tons of money. Good for you, Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, man, shout out to Floyd Mayweather. And, you know, the one thing about Floyd Mayweather, I don't care if you don't like him on the outside of the ring or the things he said on the outside. That ain't for us to judge. We can have our opinion about it, but that don't matter to me. When it comes to the sport of boxing, this dude pissed excellence, right? And, you know, it bothers me when a lot of fans, you know, talk trash about this guy and don't come to his defense when this guy pissed excellence, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to go down as one of the best fighters of all time, and he needs to be respected like that. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday. And one thing I just want to throw this out there, one people don't give this man enough credit for. Because I'm not the biggest Floyd Mayweather fan, but I respect greatness. The man was always in shape. Always in shape. You didn't see him partying. You didn't see him drinking. You didn't see him losing his mind. You know what I mean? The dude was always in shape. He stayed fight ready. And you got to respect that. You have all that money. You're in Vegas. So, happy birthday, Floyd Mayweather. We appreciate what you done to the game. And good luck to your future. Now, we've got two big, gigantic events. February 24th, 1989. The return of Roberto Duran after almost a 2-year layoff moves up in weight to beat the younger, heavier, bigger, longer Iran Barkley.
But Jose, when he beat Iran Barkley, but who had?
Barkley had just come off a devastating knockout. Tommy Hearns beat him in 3 rounds, while Duran, the smaller guy, had looked bad against Hearns. I forget who was his fight right before he went on that 2-year layoff.
Was it Sugar Ray?
No, it wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard. It was a lesser known name. But anyhow, he came back. He moved up to middleweight. He won a decision, a split decision against Barkley, and he shocked the world. It was his fourth division title. And dude, shout out to Roberto Duran, manos de pe- hands of stone, and shout out to my father-in-law, Johnny. I know this is your favorite fighter, man. So.
You know, shout out to Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at this guy right here, Roberto Duran, this is the epitome of what going through adversity and overcoming adversity is about. This is a guy, you know, not only did he embarrass himself, you know, when he did the no mas against Sugar Ray Leonard, he embarrassed a lot of people who followed him, who loved him, because, like you say, this is Mr. Hands of Stones. But Roberto Duran, like I say, he is the epitome of going through adversity and overcoming it and showing that you could walk through anything. When he came up and beat Iran Barkley, that changed everything about Roberto Duran. It made a lot of people forget about that no mas, even though it goes down in history. But that showed me the true character in Mr. Hands of Stone. And we salute you here on the Spit Bucket.
100%. Even Joe Cortez a couple weeks ago when we had him on said he was worried about Duran because he was getting older. Duran not only shocked the world, he shocked the third man in the ring, Joe Cortez. So, we salute you. And then February 25th, Muhammad Ali goes in.
Shocks the world.
Shocks the world, puts his flag in the boxing world against Mr. Sonny Liston. I am here. Classic moment in boxing.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that stand out to me about that fight is, you know, Ali. You know, when we seen the movie, you know, and you could see back in the day in the fights where they said that Sonny Liston put some on his gloves and Ali was blinded in that fight for a couple of rounds. What is trainer Angelo Dundee tell him? Get out there and fight. Keep your hands up. Man, that was a beautiful moment, you know, when Muhammad Ali, when people look at him as the greatest of all time, like, that just transformed, and that when a legend was made, because, like, in boxing, you're going to go through adversity when you step up, especially when you step up on a grand stage against a guy like Sonny Liston, who everybody said was the most devastating puncher of all time, and Muhammad Ali made him look
like amateur. And is that not one of the most iconic images in boxing history? Seeing Ali standing over Sonny Liston like that. Man, just a big day in the sport. So if you don't know about it, go check it out. Do your research. And shout out to Muhammad Ali. Shout out to Sonny Liston.
And we got a big one right here because I want you to speak on this. You know, a big one this February 25th. Nigel Benn. You know, this was a big fight with Nigel Benn and Gerald McClellan. This was a huge fight. You know, from the domestic to the USA, these was two of the top fighters. And, you know, Nigel Benn, he was the winner, you know.
It was a 10th round knockout. Look, normally we wouldn't talk about this, but we're talking about it for a reason. We wouldn't bring up an ugly spot in boxing history like this, where Nigel Benn and Gerald McClellan, one of the big stars of the sport, big part of the future of the sport, well, he suffered a career-ending injury, and it was bad. He was having vision problems in the fight. They ended up stopping the fight. But we only bring this up to talk about our foundation, the TSB Warrior Foundation. Fighters like Gerald McClellan, fighters like Pritchard Colon, who gave their heart, who gave their all to become professional fighters, sacrificed family, time, their health, obviously. Big salute to Nigel Benn and Gerald McClellan for putting on a good fight. Unfortunately, that it turned sour. But would you want you guys to know, when we talk about our merch site, when we talk about our NFTs, when we talk about our Cash App, our drawings, our jackpot that we have, 10% of all of our proceeds from all avenues is going to our Warrior Foundation, where we're kicking back money to Gerald McClellan, to the Pritchard Colons, to folks who are going through mental health issues, you know what I mean? So it's important to us, and that's why we're talking about it. We're not just talking about an ugly day in boxing history.
Yeah, because it changed boxing. It changed, you know, a lot of people feeling in boxing, because we all know this is a real sport, and, you know, tragedies like this happen in this real sport. But with our TSB Foundation, like my guy JJ Solomon said, 10% of everything we do, we're going to put back into all these fighters who was critically injured when they stepped inside that square circle.
Yeah, it's sad. If you look up their lives right now, they can't go to work. They can't do anything like that. They've got their family having to take care of them round the clock. So every little bit counts. Everything you guys can contribute. You know, you buy a T-shirt, you're not just buying a T-shirt for the Spit Bucket. You're helping a cause that's near and dear to our hearts. We love the sport, and we want to be able to kick back to the legends of the sport to risk it all in the ring, essentially for us.
Absolutely.
TSB Spitter is brought to you by the Crib Cashers. You need to sell your home quick, skip the repairs, any condition, any situation, no closing costs, no realtor commission, and have a cash offer for your home in 24 hours. Just call 214-494-1340 or visit thecribcashers.com. That's thecribcashers.com. spitcashers.com. All right, the Spit Bucket Spit or Shit for the week.
Yes, sir.
I'll go first. I have myself a spit. I feel bad for the man. I've talked enough trash about the dude, but I think it was deserving. But this is from Canelo Alvarez. This is a spit, all right? I'm going to read it to you.
Hold on. It was deserving. Why was it?
Let me read this and I'm going to explain, okay? So, Canelo shared something. I don't know where the source was from, but he shared this. He put, if he fights Charlo, he dug Bebo. If he fought Bebo, he dug Charlo. Mm-hmm. If he fought Beterbiev, he dug Bebo. Mm-hmm. If he fought Benavidez, he dug Charlo. Mm-hmm. If he fought Charlo, he dug Benavidez. If he fought Bebo, he dug Beterbiev. If he fought Beterbiev, he dug Charlo. If he fought Benavidez, he dug Beterbiev. Y'all get the point. If he fights Bebo, he dug Benavidez. If he fought Charlo, he dug Beterbiev. If he fought Benavidez, he dug Bebo. And if he fought Beterbiev, he dug Benavidez. You get the point. What Canelo is saying is he can't please everybody. You can't, we're gonna talk about this here in a bit. But I love the pose because Canelo's kind of being real here, and he's saying like, I've got so many options, and somebody's gonna talk trash. Now, I talked trash a few episodes ago when we thought the opponent was going to be McAboo. Listen, we went to a McAboo.
Shout out to McAboo.
Yeah, shout out to McAboo. But that wasn't a fight, right? That wasn't going to happen. That shouldn't have happened. But now, Canelo's got some viable options, and no matter what he picks, he's going to get criticized. So brace yourself for it. But Canelo acknowledges it. He said he gets a headache. What does he say? My brain hurts? Yeah, something like that. My brain hurts. So that's my spit of the week. Is from Canelo saying, look, I got all the options in the world, but y'all are still gonna talk. So that's my spit. What you got?
Yeah, my spit of the week is the Gypsy King himself, Mr. J.J. Solomon and Tyson Fury. He calls out Dylan White for being so silent. And they got this big mega fight, biggest purse bid of all time. I'm with Tyson Fury. Like, Dylan White, what's up with you, fam? What's up with you? Like, who are you? I don't know that guy. Because when you fought David Chisora, it was a different guy. When you fought Joseph Parker, it was a different guy. When you fought Anthony Joshua, you was a different guy. You was out there. And Tyson Fury calling you out on that. So shout out to Tyson Fury for calling Dylan White out for being so silent. Why you silent, Dylan White? Ain't this the opportunity? Ain't this the moment that you said you wanted? That Deontay Wilder and a lot of other fighters didn't let you get? Now you got this moment and then you quiet. What's popping, fam? And that's my spit of the week.
It's a very good spit, Mr. Quiet Dylan White. All right, now my shit of the week. Ugh. This is your favorite fighter, Mr. Rolly. Check out what he got to say.
I don't really like watching Canelo's fights that much. I don't know, I wish he was more aggressive. Like more, yeah, he's patient, he's a good fighter. He shows
turned it up his last couple fights.
But as far as like watching Canelo fight, I feel he just too patient and, so the killer instinct isn't there, If the killer instinct was there, he wouldn't get out.
Come on now, Rolly. That's the shit of the year, not the week. Too patient? One of the things you develop as a boxer is patience. Is learning how to set traps. Is learning how to time your opponents. It's figuring it out. It's called the sweet science. Science, you gotta have patience. So to say Canelo Alvarez doesn't have the killer instinct, have you not watched his fights? Have you not seen his knockout rate? Have you not seen him move up in weight? Now listen, I'm one of Canelo's biggest critics. Sorry. But don't say he doesn't have a killer instinct. The man comes out, he will set up the kill. Not only is he looking for the kill. Now you're confusing this for your weird style where you just come out swinging. I know you love Deontay Wilder. All Deontay Wilder knows, folks like that, is how to kill people because you can't box yet. You don't know how to set that up. So you have to have that killer instinct because that's all you offer, man. So come on, Rolly. This is your sport, bro. Don't say Canelo's got too much patience because that doesn't make no sense. You need the patience to set up those kills that we often see from Mr. #1 pound for pound in the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Get together, Rolly. Like that's my story. I got a little fired up about it.
Ooh, that's disturbing, Rolly. What are you thinking? What are you drinking? What are you smoking? Like,
it's something. And then he sounds so much. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And what you got, man? Let's finish off the shit.
Okay, and my shit of the week is the bronze bomber himself and Mr. Deontay Wilder.
Let's check it out. Check it out.
DJ?
this one, yeah. Overdose on you, girl, you know it's true, yeah.
What's poppin'? What is that? Who gassing you up to tell you was him? You think you one of these new R&B or R&B singers, the T-Pain? Do you think you was him now? So you see how money clouds you, like, for real talk. This is the example of how money can cloud everybody around you and tell you you are that guy. Like, come on, Deontay Wilder, what was that? Like, who are the people around him, JJ Solomon, telling him that is good or that is great? I'm not saying he can't do music, but like, what, Deontay Wilder, what is that? You a fighter, right? One of the best heavyweights we done seen in the past 10 years, and now you're doing this. We want to see you bounce back, wipe your shoulders off, because in reality, big dog, you only lost to one fighter. I don't want to see you doing no Milli Vanilli. That's all that is, just Milli Vanilli, what you doing right there. You ain't him, because if that was you, instead of doing boxing, you would have been doing singing and rapping 10 years ago, but you chose boxing. And we look forward to seeing you back. But that was some shit. And that's my shit of the week.
Yeah. I'll just say, I know it feels good to sing. It's fun, but don't make that shit public. You think if he ever gets robbed of a Grammy, he's going to make excuses as to why he didn't win a Grammy?
Jeez,
anyway,
that was horrible.
Good stuff, man. But yeah, that's TSB's.
Here it comes!
TSB Main Event, brought to you by Overhead Door Pros. Fellas, if you can't get it up, you need to call Overhead Door Pros. These guys get the job done right and get out fast. You can call them at 817-689-9906 or visit www.garagedoorsorus.com, on facebook.com, Overhead Door Pros.
Now it's time for the Spit Bucket Main Event. We're
Main
back,
event, baby.
We've been waiting a few weeks to do a main event, and here we are.
And this one?
This one's a good one. Let's talk about the choices on the table. Canelo Alvarez options for his next, not just next one fight, his next two fights. We got a lot to talk about it. Wide open. What you got?
Hey man, look, it was reported. And when these reports start floating in the air, it's some truth to these reports that he got offered a 2-fight deal from the Zone to fight Dimitri Bivol and Triple G, and it also was these matchroom boxing, and it also got reported floating around JJ Solomon that he got this supposedly $100 million deal to fight Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez. Like, when reports like this start floating, it got to be some truth to it, because
coming out of thin air.
Yeah, coming out. It's truth to it, but just his choices.
I love it. So we've got those two, and then the other side of the story, he's getting offers from Eddie Hearn. It's reported an $85 million two-fight deal for. You talked about it. Yeah, Bivol and Triple G, the third fight with Triple G. What do you want to see, man? Here, I'm going to stay with, I like all the options as a boxing fan. I don't think boxing can go wrong whichever route he goes. What are you leaning towards? What are you thinking? Is it real? Is it fake? How you feeling about it, bro?
When I look at them two fighters, just my all honesty about it, right? When I look at the two fighters, I'm more leaning towards Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez, JJ, because I feel like them were two younger fighters, who are right now or in their prime. I look at the Dimitri Bivol, he in his prime right now, and that'll be a real contest for Canelo. But then when I look at a guy like Triple G, if we're gonna be honest about the assessment, he's not the same guy he used to be. Did I have Triple G beating Canelo that first fight? I asked Triple G in that first fight, but I thought Canelo won the second fight, but just the third fight don't make sense.
Like
Jamal Charlo first, then a David Benavidez because it's gonna be Cinco de Mayo,
and then September 16th weekend. It makes sense to be. And listen, like I said, there's 4 great options, four great fights that will sell. But here's the thing with Canelo, we've seen him fight the Europeans. We've seen him. It's the same damn thing almost every fight for Canelo here lately. It's the big, slow, easy to hit European. Maybe not Billy Joe Saunders. I wouldn't call him slow, but yeah. But in general, it's the same blueprint from Canelo, and that's his criticism right now, is that he just sticks to fighting the Europeans. He can't fight the athletic type and that sort of deal. So I think for Canelo to change that narrative, I think If the $100 million offer is true, and it's Charlo, and it's Benavidez, I think it only makes sense. I think it's what the fans want to see. I think at least the American fans want to see. I think it's great for the sport. I think it would be great for the division, and it'd be a huge moneymaker. A lot of people think Benavidez and Charlo will give Canelo some trouble. What do you think about that, man?
I mean, I don't think now one of them fighters, whether it was Benavidez or Charlo or Bivol or Triple G, like, do they pose problems? Absolutely, because they wouldn't be at this level if they didn't pose problems. I think Canelo posed a lot more problems for them than they pose
100%
for him. But this is my thing right here. It's like all you Canelo haters out here, you know, when you the creme de la creme, when you the top dog in the sport, you get treated differently. You know, Canelo has options, right? And Canelo worked his way up to be in position to have these options. So if he go with Bivol and Triple G, we got to put some respect on that because that's Canelo. He could do that. Or if he go with Jamal Charlo or David Benavidez, that's Canelo. He could do that. But in my personal opinion, Mr. J.J. Solomon, everybody around the world, I want to see him versus Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez. I think that make perfect sense, especially the first one against Charlo for Cinco de Mayo. You know, black fighter versus a Mexican fighter. That's just the history of it. You know, that's a rivalry of it, and just the shit talk Jamal Charlo would say, and the shit talk Canelo, this newfound Canelo is talk. I think it makes more sense.
It makes 100% sense, man. And to your point, I think they bring a challenge to Canelo. But I don't think either one of these four fighters offer something that Canelo hasn't seen. You know, whether you're talking Charlo, Benavidez, you know, who's just to come forward, you know, but not any type of balance, not any type of footwork. And then you talk, if we go to the other side of it, Bivol, and you know, again, I think Bivol's very dangerous, but I think Canelo will figure him out, just like he's done a lot with that European style, the slower style, the stationary style, and Triple G. I love Triple G, man. Again, I think he beat him in the first fight, but he's past his prime. Like, I think he left it all on the table against Canelo, and there's nothing really there for that third fight.
I'm like, a third fight with Triple G just don't intrigue me. That's the common denominator for me, JJ. It just don't intrigue me. Like, it don't. Is he a champion? Yeah, but that ain't what intrigues. I don't want to see a third fight with Triple G. I want to see Canelo fight new blood. Like, if it was a Bivol and, you know, like somebody else who made more sense, or better Beav or something, that makes sense. But I don't want to see Triple G no more. I'm tired of it.
It's sad, but we've seen it. We've seen the big drama show, Mexican style. Hey, man, nothing against Triple G. We appreciate what you did, but it's time for Canelo to move on, and there's some big fights on table. And I want to say this to the Canelo haters. Again, I'm one of Canelo's biggest critics.
And rightfully so. You got the right to criticize him because Canelo do some things where he deserves to be criticized, just like every other boxer.
Just like every other boxer. But listen, Canelo doesn't make his decisions based on us, based on you, the haters. If Mayweather when Mayweather was accused of ducking and dodging, can you imagine Mayweather having four options like this? Like, those are four dangerous fights for Canelo. Those are fights that people are calling for. So you can't call him a duck. You can't call him a duck anymore, man, because it doesn't make sense. If you ask any boxing expert, they will tell you that none of those four guys can legitimately beat Canelo. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Charlo has not shown us anything. I'm a fan of Texas. I'm a fan of the hometown. I'm a fan of American boxing. But I gotta call it like I see it. What has Charlo shown to make you think that he stands a chance against Canelo, man? He's been hurt in the ring. It just doesn't make sense to me. Out of those four fighters, who do you think gives the best option or the best chance of beating Canelo? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
I would say David Benavidez, right? I mean, obviously a lot of people say Vasil because he's the bigger fighter. Vasil is a talented fighter. He done beat some talented fighters. But when I look at a guy like David Benavidez, I look at him as having that it factor. You know, David Benavidez, and also with him being also Mexican, just like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, that September fight makes sense where it's huge.
100%.
You know, for the Mexican Americans and the Mexican Mexicans, you know, in Mexico, like, that's going to be huge.
100%, man.
But I think David Benavidez posed the most threat, because if you look at David Benavidez fights, he showed me the more skill out of all of them guys. That's just my opinion, but I think he posed problems that could give Canelo trouble, possibly.
I think out of those 4 names, Benavidez probably poses the biggest threat, but even saying that, I don't think it happens. I think he's just a sitting duck for Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo will time him. I mean, Benavidez' balance isn't there. You've seen him get caught a couple times from throwing, missing. His feet are squared up. It's just a bad look. So I don't think either. But I'm happy because Canelo's finally getting a chance to shut up the critics. And I'm begging the boxing audience, please don't call the man a duck. If he doesn't pick the fight that you want, he's fighting dangerous fights. These next 2, whichever route he goes, it's good for the sport. And I'm just happy, man, because listen to the fights we talked about. Like, they're making the fights happen. We've been asking for that.
Hey, you know what else? It's just good to be Canelo right now.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus, it's good. It's good to be from Guadalajara, Mexico right now and be that redhead devil and Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's good to be him right now. Like, this is what you dream for. If you like Canelo, to put yourself in position to where, like, you making millions and millions of dollars when you got options. Eddie Hearn, 85. Reportedly, then it get counter offered. Al Heyman, 100 million. Boy, it's great to be Canelo right now.
Those are some nice options there, man. That's a nice plan B if plan A doesn't work out. And just knowing Canelo knows he can beat these guys. So he's just thinking, how can I make more money and get away with these W's? Man, I love it. But it's great for the sport. I think by the end of this year, we're going to know who the true number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world is. I think it's Canelo Alvarez, but I think he's going to prove that this year. I'm just excited. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to watch his fights. And man, we got to wrap up now, right?
Yeah, but before we wrap up,
Oh, yeah.
TSB exclusive NFT party.
Oh, yeah.
Cowboy Stadium, April 16th. Go to tsbnft.com if y'all want to rock with Mr. RTBA, JJ Solomon in that VIP suite. Be the first owners of the big head, my head, his head collection. You know, y'all gonna be able to rock with us. So everybody make sure y'all go to tsbnft.com. Make sure y'all go get y'all an NFT, especially if y'all in the city or y'all traveling in from around the world.
Remember, if you're planning to go to Spence, guys, don't spend money on the nosebleed. You're gonna be in the crowded ass arena. You gotta worry about being right next to Mr. COVID to your left and Mrs. Chatterbox to your right. You're gonna wait in those long lines. You're gonna wait in the smelly restrooms. We got private restrooms in our suites. We got, it's going to be fun. Just join us. But check out tsbnft.com because not only will you see our NFT collection, but you'll see all of our social media where you can follow our NFT stuff, but you can also see our merch site where you can go order some hoodies, some hats, some t-shirts, some beanies, whatever the case. Our merch shop's there. All of our podcasts, all our episodes are on there. So check out tsbnft.com. Do not forget about our Warrior Foundation. We touched on it earlier. 10% of all our proceeds going to fighters like Mr. Gerald McClellan, Mr. Pritchard Cologne. So keep that in mind. As you buy the merchandise, you're helping the boxing community. You're helping old school fighters who risked it all for us. But with the exception of that, man, I think we're wrapped up for the day, right?
Shout out to everybody on here, man.
We appreciate you guys. Tune in, like, share, let your friends know. We are here. We're doing big things. We're excited to spend the rest of the year with you guys. See you guys next week.